Hey, what's up guys, Klein here. So for today, we're gonna look at a very exciting new archetype for BTO6. So the full leak for BTO6 has been released earlier, and there's so much interesting cards in this set. And I'm gonna start with a purple archetype for BTO6. I did say that this is a purple deck, but actually I'm doing a black splash for this deck list. And to be honest, this is more of a 3 Musketeers deck rather than a purple deck. So 3 Musketeers is a new Digimon type released in BTO6, and they did give us a lot of support for this card, not only in terms of Digimons, but as well as a lot of option cards which can be used with a 3 Musketeers themed deck. So let's start with our Digitamas. Finally, Demi-Meramon's throne has been replaced with a new Digitama, which is Tsunomon. So what this new BTO6 Digitama does is, once per turn, whenever we trash a card from our hand using one of our effects, we can draw a card. So the difference with Demi-Meramon is that your Digimon has to get deleted before you can draw a card, and as well as you can discard the card as well. While with Tsunomon, you only have to discard a card from your hand and then you can draw a card. The thing is, sometimes you don't want to attack with your Digimon. That's why Demi-Meramon's effect can be triggered at some crucial moments. But with Tsunomon, you don't have to attack with your Digimon, and your Digimon doesn't need to get deleted. But in return, if you discard a card, you still draw a card. So Tsunomon is a really good Digitama, which maybe can replace Demi-Meramon as the best Digitama for purple. Okay, next on our Digitama list is the single copy of Demi-Meramon. So if you have been watching all my videos about purple decks, I always tell you guys that Demi-Meramon is just the best purple Digitama at this game. But now we have a contender of Tsunomon. Even though Tsunomon hasn't been really proven itself, you can replace your 4 copies of Tsunomon into 4 copies of Demi-Meramon, or vice versa depending on your taste. I'm just using 4 copies of Tsunomon on my deck list just because it's a new card and I want to test if it's actually a good replacement for Demi-Meramon. Okay, now we're moving on to our rookies. First we have the staple rookie for purple. Not having this card is blasphemous if you're playing purple. We have the 4 copies of Tapermon. So Tapermon, not much to say about him. He just draws a card whenever he gets deleted. Next is a very interesting card. It's a new card from BTO6. So our next level 3 is the new Impmon. So what this Impmon does is, whenever we hard play Impmon, we can trash one of our cards in our hand, and if we do, we can return 1 Digimon card with 7 Great Demon Lords or 3 Musketeers on its type. So as I've said before, we are running some 3 Musketeers on this deck because this is a 3 Musketeer themed deck, and that's why Impmon is a really good card whenever we just wanna dig up our 3 Musketeers from our trash and get them into our hand. So we have 4 copies of this Impmon just because we are a 3 Musketeers themed deck. Okay, next on our rookie list, we have the 2 copies of the OG Impmon from BTO2. So what this Impmon does is, it fills up our trash whenever he gets deleted. As I've said before, purple really relies a lot on its trash pile. That's why Impmon is a really good card on feeding more cards onto your trash. Okay, next on our rookie list, we have the 2 copies of the ST deck Dracmon. So what Dracmon does is, whenever we hardcast him, we can return 1 purple option card from our trash onto our hand. The thing is, that option card has to be cost 1 or 7, and if moving on during this deck preview, you can see that most of our option cards are cost 7. So Dracmon will do a good job on returning those option cards onto our hand. Okay, now we're moving on to our level 4s. We have the 4 copies of the staple Meramon. So Meramon is here just because he only costs 1 to Digivolve. Next on our champion list, we have the 2 copies of Devimon, which is the blocker for the ST deck. and another 2 copies of the Beelstarmon, which is from BT2. So I'm doing a split of 2 and 2 for my 2 blockers because the Shoutmon decks are quite relevant on this meta at the moment. And if you only have the 5k blockers on your deck, the Shoutmon decks will just run over you. So having the 6k blockers, even though they cost 2 to digivolve, is really handy just because you want to block those security plus attacks from those Shoutmon decks. Okay, next on our champion list, we have the 2 copies of Raremon. So what Raremon does is whenever we hard play him, we get to reveal the top 3 cards of our deck, and then we add 1 option card among them onto our hand, and then the rest will be feeded onto our trash. As I've said before, purple really relies on their trash pile. That's why feeding our trash with more cards is a really good news for purple decks. Okay, lastly on our champion list, we have a black Digimon. Yes, it's kind of different, but this is a new card from BT06. We have Deputymon. So what Deputymon does is, whenever we hard play him, we get to reveal the top 4 cards of our deck, and then we add 1 Digimon card with 3 Musketeers on its type, or 1 option card with memory cost 7 among them to our hand. And then we get to trash the remaining cards, we get to put the remaining cards onto our trash pile. So Deputymon, I included him even though we don't have any any black rookies, because we would likely almost want to hard play him so that we can utilize on his effect. And since we are running a 3 Musketeers themed deck and most of our option cards are 7, then we can get tons of value with Deputymon. So Deputymon is such a good fit for this deck list. Okay, now we're moving on to our level 5s. First, we have the 4 copies of Lady Devimon. So what Lady Devimon does is, we get to, whenever we digivolve into Lady Devimon, we draw 2 cards and then discard 2 cards. So not only we are digging up for more cards on our deck, but as well as we are feeding more cards onto our trash pile. So next on our level 5 list, we have the new BT06 card, which is Rebellimon. So what Rebellimon does is, whenever we digivolve into Rebellimon, we can trash 1 card on our hand, and then Rebellimon gains blocker as well as retaliation until the end of our opponent's turn. The interesting thing with Rebellimon is that it can digivolve from a black or purple level 4 Digimon. That's why Deputymon isn't such a dead card on our deck list. Another thing is, on all turns, Rebellimon is also considered as a black Digimon. Please do take note though that if your Rebellimon is on your hatch area, then you won't get to consider it as a black Digimon because all effects can't trigger on the hatch area. So Deputymon, you can digivolve it from a black Digimon and then digivolve Rebellimon into a black level 6. So Rebellimon is a really good card for this deck list. Okay, now we're done talking about our level 5s. Let's move on to the new cards, our boss Digimons, our 3 Musketeers. We have our level 6, which is Beelstarmon. So Beelstarmon is the new secret rare for BT06. What she does is, whenever we hard play our Beelstarmon, we can return 1 option card with memory cost 7 from our trash onto our hand. And then at the same time, we can use 1 option card from our hand with a memory cost of 7 without paying its memory cost. So Beelstarmon, not only it's a 3 Musketeers Digimon, but as well as we can utilize our 7 cost option cards from our hand, which most likely will be the cost of all of our option cards on this deck list. And as a bonus, we can actually reduce the play cost of Beelstarmon by 1 for every 3 Musketeers card or every 7 cost option cards on our trash. So if ever we have a total of maybe 2 3 Musketeers type Digimon plus 2 7 cost option cards on our trash pile, then our Beelstarmon only costs 8 to hard play. So Beelstarmon will give us more value as the game moves on, because we would feed our trash pile with more cards because we are a purple deck, and purple decks are really good on feeding our trash pile. So Beelstarmon is a really exciting new Digimon from BTO 6. Okay, next on our 3 Musketeers list is the new BTO 6 Gundramon. So Gundramon is a black Digimon, but don't worry, we can actually digivolve into our Gundramon because we do have Rebellimon, and Rebellimon is also considered a black Digimon during all turns. As well as, I forgot to mention to you guys that our Deputymon can actually skip digivolve into any 3 Musketeers Digimon without even, with us ignoring the what do you call this? The digivolution cost, as well as the color requirement and the level requirement of the Digimon. So if we just pay 6 memory, we can actually digivolve Deputymon maybe onto our Beelstarmon or onto our Gundramon. So Gundramon isn't a dead card, don't worry guys, we can digivolve into our Gundramon. So why did we include Gundramon on this deck? So let's discuss him. First, he has the blocker effect. So Gundramon is a level 6 11k blocker, which is always good. Next is, whenever we digivolve into Gundramon, we can reveal the top 5 cards of our deck, and then we can use one option card with a memory cost 7 among them without paying its memory costs. So as I've said before, we are running tons of 7 cost option cards on this deck. That's why most probably we can always activate Gundramon's effect. Another thing is, in any case that we whiff our digivolution effect of Gundramon, if we can play any option cards among those 5 cards that we have revealed, we can still delete one of our opponent's play cost 4 or less Digimon. So it's a really good bonus just in case we do whiff on our top 5 cards. Okay, lastly on our level 6 Digimon, we got the promo Metal Gurumon. Do take note guys that this 2 copies of Metal Gurumon is a flex spot, so if you guys wanna change it into another level 6, maybe a Lilithmon or a Beelstarmon, it's all up to you. I just included the Metal Gurumon promo card because I really like its Digiburst skill, and it really is in theme with our 7 cost option cards, because what he does is we can Digiburst 2, and we can use a purple option card with a memory cost 7 or less in our hand without paying its memory cost. So we can play those option cards as freebies with Metal Gurumon promo card. Okay, now we're done with our Digimons. Let's talk about our 7 cost option cards. As you can see, we have a lot of 7 cost option cards on this deck list so that we can utilize the different effects of our Digimons. So let's first talk about 3 copies of Nailbone. So what Nailbone does is that we may play 1 purple level 3 Digimon card and 1 purple level 4 Digimon card from our trash without paying their memory cost. Although any on-play effects doesn't activate, but still you still get to play 2 additional bodies which can hopefully finish the game on your next turn with just a memory cost of 7. So if we do have like our Digimon cards which can play our 7 cost option cards for free, then Nailbone is a really handy card on finishing the games. Next on our 7 cost option card list, we have the 2 copies of Trump Sword. I'm not really a fan of Trump Sword, but since it's a 7 cost option card, I included it on this deck list. What Trump Sword does is that we get to delete one of our opponent's unsuspended Digimon. So I did say I'm not a fan of Trump Sword. It's because it has a really bad drawback, which is we can only delete unsuspended Digimons. Yes, it can be activated. We can activate the card's main effect if it gets security checked. But sometimes, most of the time, we don't have any targets with Trump Sword because the opponent's Digimon already attack, and he doesn't have any other Digimon which are unsuspended. So Trump Sword becomes useless during those times. But even though it can most probably whiff, it can always whiff. It doesn't matter because we can still use it during our turn for free with some card effects of our Digimons, and having two copies of Trump Swords wouldn't really hurt our ratio. So 2 Trump Swords at best. For me, you can remove it you can completely remove it if you guys want to, but having 2 Trump Swords isn't bad. Okay, lastly on our option card list, we have the new BTO6 option card, which is Fly Bullet. So Fly Bullet is a really good new removal for purple because it doesn't have the drawback of Trump Sword that the opponent's Digimon has to be unsuspended, as well as it doesn't also have the drawback of Hell's Gate, which is you can only delete level 6 or higher Digimon. And with Hell's Gate, if it gets security checked by your opponent, it doesn't activate its main effect. But with the new option card, which is Fly Bullet, if it gets security checked by our opponent, we can activate this card's main effect. So this could be a really clutch card in your security pile, and it can just turn the tides of any crucial games onto your favor. So having 4 copies of Fly Bullet is a must for this deck list. Okay, now we're moving on to our tamer list. We have the 2 copies of BTO2 Matt Ishida. So what Matt Ishida does is he just recycles a purple card from our trash pile onto our hand, as well as he's really good because we do need that starting pre-memory on our turn. So having Matt Ishida it's just 2 copies, so having him isn't really such a bad idea. So the playstyle of this deck list is really simple. You just want to play your 3 Musketeers and then get some value from your 7 cost option cards, and maybe you can end the game with Nailbone or just completely destroy your opponent with your Trump Sword and Fly Bullets. And that's it for today's deck preview, guys. If you love the deck list or you love the content, please do subscribe to the channel. I also have a Facebook page at SaberCline. And as usual, if you have any suggestions or you want to change some cards from this deck list, do comment them down below on the comment section. And I guess that's it for today, guys. Till next time, peace out.